Hello and welcome to Pitt Resource Connection. Of course, I'm Mary Smith, your host, and today we're going to be talking with Shannon Williams.
That's
right. She is with New Horizons, foster care, adoption kind of a
Therapeutic
place?
foster care.
Okay. So what makes the difference between foster care and therapeutic foster care?
Well, that's one of the things I'm going to talk about
Okay.
today. New Horizons is a part of Rest Care Residential Services. Rest Care is a national company. They have agencies in 32 states, serve 17,000 individuals. Some of the services provided by Rest Care are home health, intermediate care facilities, alternative family living, and job corps. But therapeutic foster care is also a service provided by Rest Care. So therapeutic foster care is a service provided to children who are placed out of their home due to physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional maltreatment, or neglect. And so as a result of the trauma that the children experience, they start to act out.
Right.
And they start to have behavior and emotional issues such as anger, depression, anxiety, and that's some of the most significant differences between what you would call regular foster care and therapeutic foster care.
Okay. And so when they are placed, it's because the family can't manage them at home? Is that why they're being placed?
Yes. Normally it's because of they're not able to manage the behaviors, or there's been trauma that has happened in the home or to the child that's starting to manifest as negative behaviors.
Right, okay. So you have to recruit foster parents then, I guess?
Yes.
Okay, so how does one become a foster parent?
Well, foster parents, they come in all shapes and sizes. We need single parent homes, we need two parent homes, we need homes with birth children, homes without birth children, LGBT friendly, we need them all. So in order to become a foster parent, foster parents must be at least 21 years of age or older. They must have a clean criminal history. They must be able to read and write. They must have a North Carolina driver's license. They must have the space in their home to foster a child. And they also must complete a class. It's called MAP, which stands for Models, Approaches to Partnerships and Parenting. So MAP is a pre-service training designed to help prepare individuals in making that informed decision to become a foster parent. And it also helps prospective foster parents to understand the difference in having the desire to make to help a child and actually making that commitment to bring a child into their home. So there's additional requirements as well, but we discuss those during the foster parent orientation.
Okay, so they're just going to be parenting the children, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, foster parents provide many of the same tasks as a parent would do, such as providing a home for a child with a home, with love, security, safety, supervision. Foster parents are seen as the agent of change for a foster child, and as discussed, a lot of these children come into care having cracks in their foundation. So it's important that foster parents help the child learn healthy ways to cope with the trauma they've experienced. Foster parents will need to build the child's strengths. They'll need to meet their needs. They will also need to help the child to bond and form attachments. Foster parents need to have understanding. They need to have empathy, patience, and just a general understanding of how trauma affects a child's behavior and decision making.
Okay, and so do you go in and inspect the homes? Is that what you do?
Yes, we when someone calls and says they're interested in being a foster parent, we do check out the home for any safety issues. They also have to have a fire inspection completed to make sure their home is safe.
How about animals? Would I have to get rid of my dog?
That's a good question. It just depends on the animal. I'm an animal lover. I would hate to take an animal away from anyone, but the animal does have to be friendly. They have to have rabies vaccinations. They have to be friendly. So I would have to actually go and interact with the animal.
Couldn't growl at you.
Yeah, if it growls, that would be a concern because foster children are often loving of animals as well. So that is, one of the things that we also investigate when people are interested in being a foster parent. So.
Okay. So, to do this, it would seem like that there would be some kind of financial burden for the parent because it's an extra expense for having another child in your home.
Yes, there is financial reimbursement.
Okay.
There's a reimbursement that the foster parents receive every month, and the expenses are to cover the child's needs, to help with travel, and of course any other expenses that would occur with the child. Depending on the level of need for the child will depend on the amount of reimbursement the foster parent would receive.
Do they become like guardians of the child? I mean, is there a guardianship involved where there's a legal rights? I mean, like it's for schools and stuff, they would have to sign off for the child. Would that go back to the parents, or would that stick with the foster parent?
As far as any medical and educational needs, the foster parents do have authority to take care of those needs.
Okay.
There's certain, of course, paperwork with school and with medical needs that a guardian would have to take care of. But we do have foster parents that become guardians of the children. We have a lot of foster parents that adopt their foster children.
Oh, okay.
And the great thing is even after you adopt, you can continue to foster if you choose to do so.
Okay. You have a big house, huh?
Yeah. Well, you can't have more than 4 children altogether in the home.
Okay.
But as long as you meet that criteria, then
Okay.
you're fine.
All right. So what do you find working with the parents and the children are rewards that they get from doing it? And
Some of the challenges?
yeah, because I can assume that with the trauma the kids have gone through, there are going to be some pretty steep hills sometimes you have to go up.
Yes, it can be challenging, and I'll talk about the challenges first. Due to the children's trauma, they have a lot of feelings: anger, sadness. They have anxiety. They also have a lot of mistrust for adults because a lot of times adults are the adults they've trusted the most have been the ones that have hurt them. So a lot of times with these feelings come negative behaviors. Often when children are placed in foster care, they're in survival mode. But foster parents just want to provide love to the child. So patience and understanding are key to helping the child to deal with those issues and helping to teach healthy ways to cope with those feelings, and just to help them to feel safe. Being a foster parent can also be very time consuming. So foster parents just need to make sure that they do have that time to devote to children's appointments and to managing behaviors. Now the rewards, of course, most people become a foster parent because they want to just help a child. So there's a lot of fulfillment and gratification with becoming a foster parent. We have a lot of children that go into college, the military, they have families of their own, and even making a small difference in a child's life is making a difference. And by fostering a child, you're helping the community. You're helping to keep children off the street. You're helping to reduce substance use. You're keeping a child in school, reducing crime, and that's pretty amazing.
That really is. And most importantly, you give the child something they never had.
Yes.
All right, so how do you help the foster parents go through those challenges?
Well, of course, we're there to support the foster parents. We make sure that when we place a child in a foster parent's home, we're going to match those strengths with the child's needs. And we don't expect foster parents to come out of training having all the answers, knowing everything to do. So we're there to provide guidance, advice, support. We have ongoing training. We also have 24/7 on-call services.
Oh, that's great.
To help. I'm on call at this moment. So I've already had a couple of calls this week. But we have that service available for after hours for issues that may happen on the weekends. So.
Okay, well, that's good. So,
Yeah.
so they have support throughout the whole process.
Yes.
How long do these kids usually stay in the foster care with that home? Like you said, some of them get adopted, so take aside from those, I mean, how long do children stay with their foster parents usually?
It varies. The typical time of stay, I would say, if you had an average, it would be 18 months. But some children come in, things are going well. The parents are doing what they need to do. The child's doing what they need to do to go home. And so sometimes they go home as early as 6 months. It just depends on the child's situation.
Right. So it would be all different then. Okay, so you said we can adopt the child, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's after parental rights have been terminated, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that would be through Child Protective Services.
Yes. We actually don't perform the adoptions. We do help the foster parent with the adoption process.
Okay, so you guide them through the process at that point.
Yes.
Okay, so you're always there to support the parents that choose to be foster parents.
Yes.
And if it doesn't work out, let's say the match just doesn't work, the child is not responding to the foster parent, what happens then?
You know, we try our best, you know, like I said before, to match the child's needs with the foster parent's
Right.
strengths. So we're hoping that a placement works out. They don't always work out.
Right.
So when that does happen, we first try to figure out what can we figure out to kind of make the placement work or to help the foster parent with the placement. But if it's just not working out, we do, you know, allow them to move to a different home. Of course, we would like it to be a process and not be a sudden change,
Right.
because that can be detrimental to the child. So we normally, you know, ask the foster parents to at least give us 30 days to move the child, unless there was a safety issue or
Right.
concern. That way, we could possibly, we can really try to make sure we make a good match for that child, so they don't have to be moved again.
Is the child undergoing any kind of therapy while they're in the foster care process?
Yes, all of our children are involved in some kind of additional treatment services. All the children are involved in therapy, just depending on their level of need. It could be once a week, it could be twice a month, once a month. It could be family therapy, individual therapy. Many of the children also have medications that help them with managing behaviors as well. And some can even have additional services, such a service called intensive and home services,
Right,
which
right.
is an additional support to help the foster parent and the child with coping with learning healthy ways to cope
Yeah.
with their trauma.
Right. Okay, so and all that's paid for by your organization, correct?
Yes,
Okay. So
they're through Medicaid dollars.
right,
Yes.
but it's not a burden to the foster parent or the person that decides to become a foster
No.
parent.
The reimbursement that they receive, it will compensates the foster parent for any needs. If the child wants to be involved in sports or anything, it should cover those needs as well. We have a lot of our kids that go to the Boys and Girls Club and do after school activities. So that the reimbursement helps to cover
Right.
those as well.
Expenses. Okay. So if somebody's listening out there, hello.
Hello.
How do they get in touch with you to find out more about it and to learn what it is to become a foster parent?
Well, they wanted to contact me, and I just want to throw this out there too. Children of all ages need a home, but our greatest need at this time is for ages 11 to 18 years of age. That's the greatest need for the children that we need foster homes for. But if they would like to contact me, Shannon Williams, they can contact me at 252-353-2012, or they can email me. Spell it out, I guess. Shannon.h.
It's on the screen.
It's on the screen. Great.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you can email me, and we'd love to have you.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming in. It takes special people to work with the foster care process because it is tough work. And it's sad, too, sometimes. But then I guess there's a lot of happy moments, too, when things work out well.
It is. It is. It's rewarding in a lot of ways.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
All right. And thank you all for watching the Pitt Resource Connection.
Right.